Guys, real quick, a snow globe is not a TSA-approved item, all right? And I learned that yesterday at the New Orleans airport, had to go through security twice. It's all right. It's the things you do as a dad. Now, real quick, it's not important, but since we're talking about it, let's just talk about it. Has anybody ever heard of the website Skiplagged? Okay, it's cool. It's like a search engine for flights where you book 2 segments, but you only fly the first one because you only need the first one. You just walk off the plane, but you can't check your bag. So now I have this snow globe that I can't check. I have to go to a FedEx store. You'll get there when you're a dad. You'll understand. You'll understand. Hey, the first thing I want to do besides tell you about this snow globe dilemma is teach you something. It's called a power clap. I know it's been a long conference, and I know it's it's hot down here in Orlando, and you guys are giving it your all. Let me just get a power clap. I count to 3. We all clap one very powerful time together. Sounds like this. Power clap. 1, 2, 3. Sweet. For some of you who were like, oh shit, I saw you. You're like, oh shit, I missed it. Let me give you another chance. Power clap. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. All right. And now there's a guy sitting next to you. He needs a pick me up. Maybe you also need a pick me up. A 2-person power clap. That's just a high five that meets in the middle on the count of 3. 2-person power clap. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. All right. My apologies if you just got left hanging. You're sitting next to that jerk brother, and he was like, nah, dude, I'm too cool. You're not. You're the worst person in here, and everyone hates you. Also, my apologies if you just got slapped in the face. Look at the elbow. That's kind of your fault, too. All right? Cool. So I've only got a little bit of time with you. I love doing my job so very much. I love what I'm about to tell you, and I'm so honored to be here in the happiest place on earth, ATO Congress. So I'm just so excited to be here in the most magical place on earth. And in order for me to do my job the best, this is going to be a little bit of more of an interaction, much like Comforted was asking you to repeat after him. I'm going to look for some audience participation. So I would love it and be so grateful if everyone could sit as close to the stage as possible. So what I've decided as acceptable parameters are only these 2 middle sections before that row break in the back. I've got some consultants that are going to be coming, cracking skulls and breaking kneecaps if you don't move into these middle sections in front of that row. It's going to look so much better for Instagram, guys. I promise you. This guy is like, hell yeah. You going to make me do it? I'm going to do it. You know what I'm saying? He's like, you going to make me move? I'm going to get front and center, baby. Let's do this. Sweet. All right. Everyone that's joining back from the bathroom's like, oh, damn. He made us move while I was gone. Now I don't know where my bros are. Consultants, if you want to be like an usher at an NFL game, like I got 2 right here, I got 2 right here, you can feel free. I see I got 3 up front. Fantastic. Awesome. There's one up front right here. I don't know. Oh, in the bathroom. Gotcha. Sweet. As everyone makes it to their new seats, let's get a fresh power clap. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. All right. Other than being the guy that makes you move, I'm happily that guy. I want to tell you a little bit more about myself. My name is Vince Fabra. Just want to give a little click here to the slide. Sometimes it can be there it is. My name is Vince Fabra. I am a fraternity man. I'm a member of Pi Kappa Phi fraternity. I joined at the University of Southern Mississippi in the fall of 2004. When I graduated in 2008, I went to work for my national fraternity, much like your consultants and your national staff here. Did that for 2 years, and now I'm a public speaker in the Greek world and have been for almost a decade now. And like I said a second ago, I just love my job, and I love being here with you. I do stand-up comedy as a hobby and kind of a side hustle. Check me out on YouTube. I think I'm pretty funny. Hopefully that will be evident during our time here together. I host a podcast, as every fledgling stand-up comedian does. I host a podcast. It's called You Almost Had It. The concept of the podcast is we try something for the first time, and then we talk about it, okay? Episode 6, I gave myself a haircut. Been cutting my hair ever since. Some of y'all are like, we can tell, bro. That looks homemade. That looks like a homemade haircut. Episode 32, I freestyle rapped on the track, you guys. Bars, all right? Just want to say, bars, all right? And it's just something that, a hobby and passion, something that I'm interested in and enjoy. Subscribe on iTunes. Lastly, most importantly, and thank you, Corey, for being so kind in that brief introduction, I'm a family man. I have a 16-month-old daughter who's getting christened tomorrow, hence the snow globe that I'm bringing from my aunt to her for a gift. And I've been married for about 4 years, so I'm happy to be here with you guys, but I'm definitely missing those ladies. Cool. Now, I bring all this up on the screen, not only to humble brag about my podcast, subscribe on iTunes, but also to tell you what I'm not, because I can't stand up here and claim to be a risk management expert or claim to be a policy expert. I have an undergraduate degree in speech communication. A microphone and a stage is the only thing I really know how to do, right? So I can't claim to be a policy expert. I'll leave that to smart people that know what they're talking about. Maybe you've seen those types of speakers come to your campus. I feel like Win Smiley is a good example as your CEO. So if I were to give a risk management talk specifically, it would sound a lot like Mr. Mackey from South Park. Do you remember Mr. Mackey from South Park? Right? I'd just be like, guys, look, hazing's bad, and drugs are bad, and consent is good, okay? All right, enjoy your lunch. Like, that would be my talk, But I believe that there is a whole different approach to risk management that complements policy really well. I mean, we need those policies. They're built to keep us safe. However, if we have individuals in our chapter that are hurting or that are broken, a policy is not going to do the trick. I feel like we got to heal the individuals, because at the end of the day, risk management is really just human behavior, right? One person hazes another person. There's a power dynamic involved. That's some human social stuff right there. A drinking culture on a college campus is created by students that came before you, and now you feel the pressure to live up to that rage culture on your campus. It's all human behavior. A sexual assault, for the most part, is people that have two different intentions for that moment. They miscommunicate, someone runs a stop sign, or someone intentionally runs a stop sign and is a predator. Hopefully that does not happen, but it's still human behavior, right? So what I want to do is I want to focus on the human behavior side of risk management, because that's what I believe I'm more qualified to talk about. Cool. There's no bigger drive to our behavior than our goals and desires. So here's what I want you to do. Now that you're seated close to someone, some of you were out on an island where you couldn't have a conversation. I want you to have a 30-second conversation. What are your goals and desires for college? Talk about it. Power clap. 1, 2, 3. Get into it. Ten seconds. And power clap. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. Cool. So I'm pretty sure that you spoke to your buddies. Maybe you said something goofy to make them laugh, and then seriously you got to it in the remaining 26 seconds that you had, and you were like, it's pretty simple. Like, just want to get an education, grow and develop, get a job, make some money after college. Pretty simple stuff. So if your answer in that 30-second conversation break fits neatly into one of these two boxes, just give me a mm-hmm. Fair enough. All right. So our goals as college men, our goals as college students, as fraternity men, to get an education, grow, and develop. All right. I want you to do the same activity. I'm just going to change the top word on that slide there. Instead of your college goals, what are your daily goals? Talk about that for 30 seconds, because if college is your goal to get an education and grow and develop, what are your daily goals? Talk about that. Ready, set, power clap. 1, 2, 3. Get into it. 10 seconds. And power clap, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Excellent. All right, so for that first one, I don't really like to hear from the audience because as we discovered, all of our answers fit pretty much neatly into 2 boxes. But for this one, I feel like when we do college, we're in dreaming mode. What are my goals for college? I want to get an education. I want to grow and develop so I can get a great job. We go into dreaming. When I say, what are your goals for your day? We shift from dreaming and we go to venting, right? Our goals are not get an education and grow and develop. Our goals are find parking, mother freaker. Like, that's my goal. You know what I'm saying? My goal is take a shower. Like, sometimes I fail. You know what I'm saying? Like our goal, we go from dreaming to venting. So because there are probably a more variety of answers in this second conversation break, let me hear what you said. Like, when you think about your daily goals, what came to mind? Yeah, what you got, man? Get stuff done so tomorrow's easier because there's always things piling up to get done. Fair? Amen. What you got, man? Be confident. Man, that's a good goal. It's a good reminder to have for yourself because you got to face that day and you got to believe in your abilities to get through that day. I like it. What else you got? Yes, sir. Make decisions and not regret them. Don't live with regret. We'll talk a little bit about regret together. I like that for sure. Maybe somebody in the back. He is in the back. What you got, man? Nice and loud? Ooh, man. Yeah. Whoo. For those of you watching at home and you couldn't hear ATO live, thanks. We're glad to have you. The 7 of you across the country. I don't know. It could be 700. If you guys have those numbers, let me know. But the gentleman in the back said, make sure your significant other is not mad at you. And it got a rousing round of applause from other guys that are like, oh shit, I got to send a text right now. Yeah. You guys a good reminder, bro. I appreciate it. Yeah, my wife is so mad at me right now for being here. So thank you guys. Sweetie, if you're watching, she's not at all. She would I don't think she knows how to work the internet. I'm going to be honest. Like, oh man. Does anybody's significant other, girlfriend mainly, like just suck at passwords to their shit? I don't know. This is stand-up bit. This is me breaking into stand-up bit right now. My wife cannot remember a single password. They're all why are they all different? Why are they all different? Just do the same one. What are you doing with your life? All right, anyway, let's get back to the real talk. I feel like our daily goals as college men, particularly as college fraternity men, just really humans in general, honestly, can be summarized in this one word right here, and that word is survive. Give me a if you relate to that. Okay, everyone and now I have head-to-toe goosebumps. Thank you very much for that. Cool. Let's talk about it. Here's what no one tells you guys. No one tells you your life is hard. No one tells you that your life is tough. And here's why. Because in a lot of ways, it is far from it. This word survive for us does not mean a physical sense of survival. We are so blessed and fortunate. You know where your next meal's coming from. You turn on the tap, clean water comes out, and you never even think about it, right? For people around the world, this survive is a very physical sense, and it is very real. For us, this is more of a social survival. The pain in your stomach is not hunger, it's anxiety. And that pain is real, and no one tells you that that is real pain because all they tell you is how privileged and how fortunate you are, which is true. But that doesn't make this social survival, this gotta get shit done, remind myself to be confident, juggling all the things, significant other is one. Here is your life. You wake up earlier than you want to, all right? You either walk from the fraternity house to campus, which is a long, hot walk, or you drive and try to find parking. You show up 5 minutes late to your first class. That class is kicking your ass because you're doing the minimum amount of work just to get your ass kicked, right? Because you're a second half team. You know what I'm saying? You play from behind, and that's how you like it, all right? Then you leave that class, you go to another class that's kicking your ass again. You're a second half team across the board, all 15 hours, second half team. Then you leave that class, you go eat a meal that's made by Aramark, so that means it's shitty and expensive, okay? Then you leave that meal, you maybe go to another class, you go to a meeting, you get a call from your consultant or your chapter advisor that tells you you're not doing something. You go to a meeting that you don't want to go to, or worse, you're running a meeting where people don't want to be there. Then you finally get time to go and relax, quote unquote. You check Snapchat, you get FOMO AF. You realize your significant other's mad at you. You got this internship deadline that's approaching, and like all this shit, man. And you're just like, God, how do I juggle all of this stuff? That pain that you feel is real, fellas. Your life is tough in a lot of ways, and it's not in so many others. Here's what I mean when I say survive. Every day, our goal is to not look like an idiot and to be cool/attractive. If I can get to the end of the day, get back to my house, look in the mirror and go, okay, were you the butt of anybody's joke today? No. All right. Did you convince everybody that you've got it all figured out even though you're dying inside? Yes. All right. That was a good day. That was a good day. Time to kick off my pants and just relax so I can do it again tomorrow. Jeez Louise, it never ends, right? So here's what I believe. I believe that our goals, if we were to kind of try to sound smart, if I were to try to sound smart, don't look like an idiot, be cool/attractive, can easily be summed up by avoid negative attention and seek positive affirmation. Human beings are simple, especially ones that live in the first world. We are simple. We want to avoid negative attention and seek positive affirmation. These are our goals. Don't look like an idiot, be cool. We have an intense pressure to avoid negative attention and a deep desire to seek positive affirmation. So here's what ends up happening, right? If everyone in our chapter, if everyone on our campus, if everyone around the world is looking to be noticed and seen, but they're not willing to notice or see others, the only behavior that breaks through and gets noticed is loud, destructive behavior. Does that make sense? Or often, on the other end of the spectrum, like revolutionary, world-changing, positive contributions. And everywhere in the middle, we just kind of feel like we're not really noticed. I want to give you how I still struggle with this. I haven't been on a college campus in a long time, but I still struggle with this. It represents and manifests itself in a group me that I'm in. Dudes from fantasy football. It's me and 11 other chapter brothers. Anybody in a group me? Okay, cool. Who's got that thing on mute? They're like, nah, dude, I check it when I check it. All right? It doesn't pop up like a text message from me. All right, cool. So, as I've said, I think that I'm funny. And I really just want my 11 chapter brothers to think that I'm funny. And in a group me, how do you show someone that you like their post? The literal symbol of love and affection is the answer, right? So here's what I'm doing with my group me. Okay, I'm scrolling through, I'm looking for an opportunity. I'm doing the math in my head. All right, if me plus 5 hearts, that equals 6 out of 12. That's a good post. 5 hearts is like a good post. So I'm gonna give me maybe 7 hearts on this. Oh, I got it right here. Boom, 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 boom. Post. Wait. Nothing. Shit. All right, cool, man. Maybe I need to get a solid GIF in there. Maybe I just need to throw a solid GIF in there. Everybody loves a good GIF. I'm just gonna brighten my buddy's day with a GIF. I love them so much. They're my best friends. Oh my God, GIF. Boom. Nothing. These are the stages of group me grief. I'm going to give them to you right now. First, you get angry. You're like, I'm funny. I'm hilarious. These dudes ain't funny. You start scrolling back to old posts. You're like, 8 hearts? That got 8 hearts? You're like so jealous and mad and angry. After angry, you get paranoid. You're like, wait, are these dudes texting each other outside the group me right now about my last 2 jokes that bombed? Like, is there a separate group me that I'm not in called Not Vince, where they just like screenshot all the dumb things that I say and roast me behind my back? My friends would do that. I know they would. After anger, after paranoid, you get aggressive, okay? You find the weakest guy in the group me and you just make fun of him. And if it's a ginger, that's a wrap. It's the first guy every time. It's the first guy every time. All right? And here's the thing. All you're doing is intentionally hurting that guy's feelings so your other dumb friends will give you a heart in an app. Do you understand? We're monsters. We are monsters. But when you're not feeling the love, you are willing to betray your sense of right and wrong. You are willing to act out of character to be noticed, to be seen, and you don't care who you hurt in the process. Is that an allegory for risk management? Absolutely it is. College is one big group me. College is one big group me. You exist, you want to be seen, you want to be noticed, you realize what is regarded as cool, what is regarded as heart-worthy, double-tap-worthy, and we're like, cool, I guess I got to be that. And then we betray our sense of right and wrong, we betray our upbringing, we betray all the things that Comforted was talking about, because we just want to be seen. We just want to be noticed, we just want to be validated. Here's what I want to do. I want to talk about how we can, because these forces are powerful, you guys. The force to the pull to avoid negative attention and the desire to seek positive affirmation. These forces are powerful. Not every fraternity that creates a negative headline are filled with sociopaths and psychopaths. Sometimes it's just good guys that make bad decisions. And why do they make bad decisions? Because they want to be the big man on campus. They want to have the baddest fraternity parties. They want to have the reputation. They want to have the identity of being XYZ, ABC. They're not bad people. They just get caught up. So if I could spend the rest of my time today talking to you about identifying these forces and then maybe going a different route, I think that's and you laugh a couple times and we end on time. I think that's a good hour of our time. Fair? Cool. Here's what I want you to do. I feel like this is a perfect time for a 30-second conversation break because I've just talked at you for a while. So let's power clap, have a 30-second conversation break, and proceed. Power clap, 1, 2, 3. Talk it out. How's your brain feeling right now? Ready? Talk to your neighbor. Go for it.
Some people just love to solve problems. They spot a need and they get to work. That's who you find at UF Health, where a world-renowned team uses deep brain stimulation to help patients with Parkinson's disease. You don't just treat them.
And power clap. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. Awesome. Just looking at this cheat monitor right here, I see myself and man, that's a lot of forehead right there. That's a lot of forehead. Can y'all do something in editing before that goes out to the web? Maybe reduce that forehead, CGI some hair on there. All right, it's cool. So what I like to call this idea of avoiding negative attention and seeking positive affirmation, I like to call these social highs because, I think if we can identify, if we can give it a name, if we can recognize it, it's a lot easier to circumvent it, go around it, beat it. So social highs. Social highs are those momentary moments. Social highs are those moments where you feel euphoric. It's breaking a personal best on Instagram and likes. It's scrolling through your likes Because it's not just how many you get, it's who likes it that's really important. Did my middle school crush like that post? Yeah, what's up, Stacy Kest? Of course you did. I see you. Stacy Kest, if you're watching on ATO Live, good to see you. Right? Social highs, I was given a couple of great examples, and I'll ask you to talk to each other and give a couple great examples. But like social highs are when you're DJing and you put a song on that makes everybody go, oh, you feel like the man, right? Not that we play drinking games, but social highs is sinking that last shot in beer pong and everybody goes, oh, and the two dudes you were playing against go, shit, man, like that just feels good. You just feel like the man for like 20 seconds. You just feel so good. Does that make sense? Social highs are a Tinder match with someone that you have no business matching with. You're like, man, that picture with the good angle really tricked some people. That feels great. That feels fantastic. They're just these little moments, and we mistake them for happiness. I'll talk about how they're different, but they're these little moments that make you just feel good, where you have successfully avoided negative attention and received some positive affirmation. You did it. Congratulations, and it feels great. Again, it helps if we can name it. Let's talk about what social highs are, though. Social highs are completely external. What I mean by that is they rely solely on the opinion of other people, right? Like you need people there in order to experience a social high. If you throw on a song by yourself and make yourself go, oh, that's not the same thing. If you sink a beer pong shot by yourself, you have a problem. It's completely contingent on the approval of other people. You allow other people to tell you how to feel about yourself. And we are all guilty of that from time to time. Another thing about social highs is they are fleeting, which means you're high 1 minute, you're low the next, right? So go back to Instagram. You break your personal best on Monday. On Tuesday, you throw out a post that gets 4 likes in 2 hours, and you're like, I'm going to delete that post and pretend it never happened, right? You have these little negotiations with yourself. You're feeling high. The next song that you throw in at the party, someone says, that song's garbage. You feel like garbage. You feel like a garbage human being because you thought everyone was going to love that Backstreet Boys song, and they didn't. All right? I went through a boy band phase in college, okay? And then lastly, this is why they're so hard to escape, because they are accessible. They are incredibly accessible. Oh my God, it's so easy to just feel a social high. Have you ever been bored and you're just like, you know what I need to do right now? Just selfie Snapchat. I'm so bored. Look how bored I am. I hope this post really brightens up your day. Look how bored I am, right? We're just doing that because we're bored and we're like, man, it would be real great to be noticed, or just throw this out into the ether. Hopefully somebody picks up on it, right? Nobody eats a Tide Pod because they like the taste of a Tide Pod. Does that make sense? Like they're doing it for the likes. They're doing it to be noticed. They're doing it to be seen. But again, they are just waiting for the next meme to have the next viral video. It's a very fleeting, external, but yet accessible thing. Now, the goal of life is not to have Instagram followers, right? I mean, the goal of life is not to be the big man on campus, because fellas, what I've learned, and I hope this is not too harsh, it sucks that everything you care so much about right now, the second you graduate, doesn't matter anymore. It sucks, right? So start caring about some things that are a little bit more eternal, okay? Cool. So the goal of life is not all the things that we just discussed. Followers, Tinder matches, beer pong victories. Oh, someone also said Fortnite dubs are a good social high. When you're the last person in your Fortnite group that's like carrying the team on your back, that feels real good, you know? Those things, again, they don't matter tomorrow. So what is the goal of life? And the goal of life is simple. We have a simple desire to be happy, right? We just want to be happy. We want to be safe. We want to get great relationships like Comfort was talking about. We want to give love, feel love. We just want to be happy, okay? A couple schools of thought on happiness. Aristotle says that everything we do is a means to an end, and that end is happiness. So you got into a great college so you could get a great job, so you can make a difference. And making a difference makes you happy. That's your driver, right? There's also a hypothesis. It's called the happiness hypothesis, which kind of says the opposite. And if you go to higher ed and if you go to student development theory, this will be all in your classes. A smart friend of mine, shout out to Chris Lucas, told me about this. In order to succeed in anything, you must be happy first. In order to do well in college, in order to do well in your career, in order to make a difference, you must be a happy person. Now, I think it is kind of silly to speak in a universal language about something that's so individual to you. I can't tell you what makes you happy. What I want to do is I just want to say that happiness and social highs are not the same. And they feel the same because maybe chemically in your brain they're kind of the same, but they're not the same at all. And we get confused and we start chasing the social highs, and I think we sacrifice true happiness in the process. Right? So if these things are the opposite, the adjectives that I've used to describe social highs, you can basically expect the antonyms to describe happiness. Real happiness is internal. It's the relationship that you have with the man in the glass. It is not tethered to your bankroll, the car in the driveway, the house you have. It is just an internal sense of the love and respect that you have for the person that you are, I believe, is a good marker for happiness. Another thing, it's sustained. Instead of the peaks and valleys, the highs and lows of social highs, it's a nice even burn. Much like your physical health, though, you've got to maintain it. Once you get in good shape, you can't just expect to stay in good shape for the rest of your life. You got to maintain it. You got to work on it. You got to update it. You got to tweak. You got to constantly be searching, growing, and evolving as a person. But if you can figure it out, it's not that hard to maintain. And then lastly, it sounds a lot like accessible, but it's attainable. It takes real work. It takes real work. The analogy I like to use is a social high is like paying 50 cents, going to a tap, and filling up your cup. Right? Happiness is grabbing a shovel and digging your own well, and you never have to pay for water ever again. But it's just 50 cents, man. It's not that bad. I got 50 cents, but I promise you, over time, 50 cents adds up every single time you want to feel a dose of endorphins in your brain. Do the work, put down your smartphone, grab your metaphorical shovel, and do some digging. So here's what I want to do. I did promise that I would give you guys an opportunity to talk about the social highs that maybe are holding you back, or give me some great examples. So when I go do this later in the month of August, I might be like, I heard a really great one at ATO Congress about a social high because I'm old. I don't know what you guys are obsessing over and dealing with on your college campuses. So here's what I want you to do. 30-second conversation break. I'm hoping to get maybe a couple of appropriate but still entertaining social highs that maybe I can bring with me, put in my public speaker pocket, and go to the next campus or conference with. So 30 seconds, power clap, 1, 2, 3. Talk about a social high. Ready, set, go. Ten seconds. And power clap. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's sneak another two-person power clap in there. Two-person power clap. 1, 2, 3. All right. Just give some love, man. I feel you. I'm right next to you. Awesome. Great. So were there any that I didn't mention that came up in conversation that you think are interesting, funny, again, appropriate, and maybe some other people in the room could relate to? Anybody got one? All the way in the back. Shout it out loud, sir. Okay. I feel like you had a D&D reference in the back. Is that correct? All right. That goes way over my head, but you got some snaps and you did get some applause from some of your brothers. I imagine being the dungeon master feels pretty good. Yeah, sweet. I dig it. Anybody else? Oh, like this moment right here is one, if that makes sense. Like if you stand up and say the one that everybody goes, oh shit, I didn't even think about that. That's a social high, right? Like that in itself is a social high. It's kind of meta what we're doing right now, but I'm looking for it. I'm searching for it. What else you got? Yes, sir. Oh, Intramural Sports. Let's talk about that. Oh my God. Oh, so good. Yeah. For those that didn't hear, hitting that game-winning three-pointer. So good. I was a part of a chapter that was not gifted with athletic ability. Shout out to the old Podcaps down at Theta Alpha from 2004 to 2008. And for the life of us, our philanthropy event every year was a basketball game. When I joined the chapter, I think we were 0-8. Like we had never won our own philanthropy. It was so sad until our junior year. When we beat those damn Kappa Sigs and everyone cheered for us. It's still the greatest memory of college, honestly, it is. Because it was in front of all the sororities. We never won our philanthropy for the first time, and man, it got a lot of likes on an antiquated Facebook back in 2007, right? Back when it was literally still called your wall instead of your mom calling it that. Cool. What else you got? Yeah, man, what you got? Ooh, having like a perspective in a chapter meeting that makes everybody stop and go, whoa, you're our president now. Sorry, guy, get out of here. This guy, we're following him from now on. Like, that just feels so good. It just feels so good. Let's just do the ritual. You swear him in. Swear him in. Cool. I saw another one right here. Oh, for those that didn't hear, having a real hot take in a chapter meeting that makes everybody go, well, that's a great idea. What you got? Absolutely. The chapter meeting where we do the For the Good of the Order, or we give out the Brother Award or the Bonehead Award or whatever the award's called, right? It's that attention feels good. You know, maybe you did some things that weekend you're not proud of, but everyone's like, hey, you survived, you're here, we're happy, we're proud of you, and they give you some love, and that just feels good. Cool. How about recruitment numbers? Being the biggest chapter on campus, right? How about your social calendar? Everybody knows that we have a handful of organizations that we are hoping to get on our social calendar, right? Landing one of those organizations to mix, swap, exchange with. Not only does it feel good because that night is going to be enjoyable, but also you let all the other fraternities know, suckers! Us, not you. What else? Getting retweeted by Barstool. That's something that you put in your recruitment video, right? You're like, one time we made a dumb banner and Barstool thought it was dumb enough to put on their website. So join ATO. And everyone's like, oh man, these guys are so rad. Yeah, rad is what I said. Yeah. Cool. So here's what I want to say. Again, social highs are not all bad, right? The Brother of the Week award where we experience fellowship and kind of laugh about the dumb things that you did, that's not all bad. However, I believe, especially in the brotherhood standpoint, if we're going to do ball busting, we've got to do twice, if not 5 times as much genuine love and friendship. Does that make sense? So every brother that you rag on because they did something dumb over the weekend at a chapter meeting, give 5 genuine pieces of praise to other brothers in the chapter. every brother that, did something dumb over the weekend, and we give them the Sausage of the Week award. I think that was for a short time, and that was my chapters, right? Just a sausage that got passed around, right? You give them the Sausage of the Week award, give 5 to 10 genuine, hey, man, I just want to say thank you so much for showing up on time. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being a brother. We got to give genuine love, because we're already good at the ball busting. We're already good at that. Let's give some genuine love and friendship. Cool. All right. For me, again, still struggling with this, not perfect. Social highs are very seductive, even to the person that talks about how to not be seduced by social highs. There was a moment pretty recently where I kind of realized the difference between social highs and happiness. All right? I'm from New Orleans, and I'm not much of a hockey fan. I'm a sports fan. Who dat till I die? Go Braves, Southern Miss to the top, right? That's my teams right there. And wherever LeBron plays, I'm a sucker. All right, I'm a Lakers fan now. He's my favorite, okay? We'll get off of it because we could spend an hour talking about that. Anyway, I like hockey now. Is anybody from hockey country? Like just the Northeast, or any Caps fans in the crowd? Like we finally won? All right, good deal. It's interesting you didn't raise your hand for hockey fans, though. Like you were just like, we're Caps fans, just not hockey fans. When we hoist the cup, we root. Don't be a front runner, bro. Don't be a front runner. I'm just kidding. I love you. Anyway, there's a minor league hockey team in South Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina, where I live. And my wife and I, we were looking for something to do before we were pregnant, maybe 2 years ago at this point. It was $2 hot dog night, $2 beer night on a Tuesday. We're like, let's go watch some hockey. Let's do this. And then we got there, and we loved it. If you've never seen hockey live, it's the best sport to watch live. It's fantastic. It's amazing. You'll figure out the rules. There really aren't that many. Puck goes in net, good. That's it. That's all you really need to know, right? So we get hooked. That same season, we go probably about 15 more times because they made a real deep run through the playoffs, and we were there cheering them on maybe once every other week. Like we were into it, And then we had our baby, and we take her to her first hockey game. Now, instead of sitting by the glass yelling at the players, we're up in the upper deck, just kind of casually enjoying ourselves. During intermission, which if you're not a hockey fan, basically like halftime, but it's not really halftime because there's periods. You get it. Anyway, during intermission, the Zamboni's on the ice, smoothing out the ice. Now, any Zamboni worth a damn is going to have a T-shirt cannon on it, fellas. It's got to. Otherwise, it's a missed opportunity right there. So the T-shirt cannon is on the Zamboni. It is firing. It is on the other side of the arena. And I'm doing some math. I'm just like, it looks like the trajectory and the angle. Like, I feel like this is going to come right in my vicinity. I got this. So my wife is holding our baby, and she's going to go get something out of the diaper bag, maybe a snack or a toy or a bib or something for a baby, and not for me. Let's get him a bib and get him his applesauce. So she's like, hey, I need you to hold this baby, our baby. I need you to hold our baby. We didn't steal a baby. I need you to hold our baby. And I said to her, I said to her as confidently as I can say I am here right now in Orlando, Florida. I said, if you hand me our baby, Hattie, I'm going to catch a T-shirt from the cannon while holding the baby. I called it. I said that. Right? She was like, yeah, whatever. Cool. So it's going. It hits section, I'm in like 211. It hits section 208. He reloads. I'm like, oh, shit, I'm going to catch this T-shirt. Like, this is happening. Baby's right here. It's in the air. And if you've ever seen Sandlot when Benny the Jet tells Smalls to just stand in the outfield with his glove in the air, I'll take care of the rest, bro. Like, that's exactly what it was like. I was just like, and I caught it, and I looked at my baby, and I looked at this T-shirt, and I looked at my wife. I was like, I called that. Everyone in the section was like, that guy just caught a T-shirt with a baby. Like, they went crazy. They cheered for me, which is a little bit of a social high, And so I snapped this picture, which is me with a terrible T-shirt. It's a 3X that feels like a potato sack. It's never a good T-shirt. It has a thread count of 2. So the T-shirt wasn't the accomplishment, but the accomplishment was it was the first time I really felt like a dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was the first time that I was like, this is some dad shit right here. My baby was like 6-7 months at the time. I'd changed diapers, and I'd gotten up in the crying late nights. You know what I'm saying? But like, this was the first time I was like, yes. This is my life now, and I couldn't be happier, right? So we snapped this picture, and of course I sent it to the dudes in fantasy football because I'm going to pull on some heartstrings to get some hearts. I'm not completely immune to the social highs, guys. I think I got like 8, 9. Yeah, I know Brett, Kevin, and Brennan didn't like it. Screw those guys. I hate those guys. But I was about to throw it on a social media app. I was about to share it with the internet, And here's the thing. Happiness exists in the moment, and social highs are what you allow people to tell you about the moment. The second I put it on Instagram, this moment is quantified. The cuteness or how special it is quantified by the likes and the hearts and the comments. And then what do I do the entire second period? I check. I'm like, oh man, we're getting some action on this post. This is a great post. And the thing that I'm not doing is enjoying the moment. The thing I'm not doing is enjoying Hattie's first hockey game. And if you're chasing the likes metaphorically or literally on the social media apps, it's never enough. It's never enough, right? How many likes would I have been satisfied with for this picture? The answer, if you can't see that, all of the likes. Every single Instagram user needs to like that or heart that for me to be satisfied, because that's how special that moment was. Happiness exists in the moment. And social highs are what you allow people to tell you about that moment. So, if I had to throw my definition of what happiness is in the ring, if I had to just maybe give you something a little bit more specific, instead of catching a t-shirt in the hockey game while holding your 7-month-old daughter, I would say it's pursuing a purpose while honoring your principles. It's pursuing your purpose while honoring your principles, okay? So ATO leads, ATO gives, those feel like purposes to me. And then you have some principles to hold you accountable, like studs, like your the 5 vital actions of a great, healthy chapter, like the thing that Brother Comforted was talking about. I think you need that X and Y axis because it's still possible to pursue a purpose and maybe do it at the expense of others. I think we need to hold ourselves accountable to purpose and principles. So, for me, and again, I fail way more than I succeed. For me, I would say I look at all the things that I choose to do, fraternity man, public speaker, comedian, podcast host, family man. I look at all those things and I say, man, what would be like a common thread amongst all those things? What if I could distill basically my resume as an adult down to a purpose, down to a sentence that people can remember and I can remind myself of, what would it be? And I feel like I've kind of got one. I know it sounds like I belong at a Jimmy Buffett concert, but my purpose, I believe, is creating good vibes through collaboration. I want to work with people to make things that make other people happy. I want to partner with ATO, come down to Orlando, Florida, grab a microphone for an hour, and just talk to some college men, even when the microphone goes out. I don't care. I want to get on a comedy stage and I want to make some jokes that make people happy and allow them to forget about the craziness that's going on in the outside world. I want to have a podcast episode that you listen to on a long drive and it makes your long drive feel a little bit shorter. That's what I want to do with my life. And again, I fail way more than I succeed. We're back. I just feel like the comms team was like, you know what? He needs to go full politician mode on this sequence, and we're going to cut his mic, so he has to yell it. I appreciate that. That was very, very first class, the show, guys. We're here at the show. But again, like I said, you need to hold yourself accountable to the X and Y axis. You need some principles to hold you accountable as you pursue your purpose. The ones that I've identified for myself are these right here. Kindness, integrity, and open-mindedness. It looks like the podium might be blocking, so throw those up on the screen for me, guys. So the purpose is creating good vibes through collaboration, and I believe the easiest way to get a laugh, as we discovered earlier, is at the expense of other people, and I just want to be kinder and honestly smarter than that as a comedian and find a better way to get a laugh. Also, integrity. I know that I grab a microphone and talk to you for an hour, and then I go live the rest of my life, and as do you. I want to be the guy that practices what he preaches, not just the guy that has a slick slideshow and is a good public speaker. So I want to hold myself accountable, and honestly, that's the one I probably struggle with the most, because on a Wednesday in Charleston, when I don't have anything to do, nothing is what I do, right? That's what I do. And then lastly, open-mindedness. Now, I'm a straight white guy, and we are really good at finding each other, so I need to be intentional about the people that I create good vibes with and collaborate with. So when I'm thinking about the jokes that I write, or when I'm thinking about the content that I create, I want it to be universal. I don't want it to be for people that only have the same perspective that I have. So it's just something that I'm trying to do, and again, I fail more than I succeed, but I believe once you've kind of figured out what failure looks like, you will have a higher success rate. Once you ask yourself some of these tough questions, you will have a higher success rate, because you will know, all right, I'm waking up today and my purpose is to be a lifelong learner with a thirst for wisdom. That's a great purpose. And my principles are, to be respectful, altruistic, and let's see, what's another good one? Shout one out. What you got? Help me out. Was it curious? There you go. Yeah, which goes well with the learner thing. I like it. Curious is a good one. So now you can wake up, and at the end of the day, when you've done all the stuff you had to do for that day, you lay your head down on the pillow and you're like, all right, was I a lifelong learner with a thirst for wisdom? Was I, curious, altruistic? And what was the first one? I forget. Who cares? It doesn't matter. But you get what I'm saying, all right? You get what I'm saying. So what I want to call to your attention is I bring all this up not to just humble brag about my podcast, subscribe on iTunes, but I bring all this up to say in college, when I was an undergraduate college man, when I was in your seats metaphorically, what was the only thing on this list that I did? Fraternity man. I wasn't yet a public speaker. I'd never tried stand-up comedy. In 2004, what the hell's a podcast? And as much as I was trying to convince my college girlfriend to like me for more than 2 months at a time, it just wasn't happening, all right? If you're in an on-again, off-again relationship, it's going to end in the off position. Just end it now, guys. Go back to the fall with a clean slate. Have a good time, all right? You're in there? You're in there. All right, sweet. Sweet. So the only thing I did from this list was fraternity man. So the identity of fraternity man was what I took on. I wanted to be a cool fraternity dude in a cool fraternity chapter, and protecting that identity was my purpose. That identity was my purpose. All the decisions that I made, it wasn't create good vibes through collaboration. It was, how can I increase my social standing within my chapter and on my campus? And if you feel a little bit of that pressure, just give me a head nod. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the social highs. That is the seductiveness of being the big man on campus. We all have the dreams of having the admiration of the sorority women and the respect of our fellow fraternity men. Like, we all want to do that. But again, the second you graduate, none of that shit matters at all. So how do we find ourselves engaging in a purpose? How do we find ourselves engaging in something that's a little bit more eternal? Again, I've talked for a while. I'm wrapping up here. This will be our last 30-second conversation break. So if there's something on your mind that you want to share with your neighbor, if there's a question, even if it's just like a hug, how are you doing, man? It's been a long day. Like, whatever, 30-second conversation break, and then we're going to wrap this thing up with our final stretch here. So power clap, 1, 2, 3. Excellent. Get into it. Talk to each other. And power clap. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. Okay. So having these conversations, the one that the conversations we're having right now, I like to call that we're doing a little bit of searching, right? We're asking ourselves some tough questions, and we might have to struggle through some of the things that we find, but it's important to do that searching, to kind of ask ourselves, what do I care about? What kind of person do I want to be, right? We have to do that searching. I feel like a lot of our fraternity men, a lot of college students in general, they skip the searching phase and they go right towards running. They are running towards an identity, and usually they are running away from an identity in the process. Just show of hands, how many of you reinvented yourself even just a little when you went to college? Right? Cool. You left that nickname back in high school, and you are back moving forward because you are running towards, I'm going to join a fraternity, and I'm going to be that big man on campus that everyone admires and respects. I'm running towards that. Now, here's the thing. I believe when our members get to the pot of gold at the end of that frat star rainbow, when they arrive at big man on campus, frat star, right? I believe they realize how empty that feels, and now they are hurting. And here's the thing about risk management, fellas. Those that are hurting are the ones that hurt others. I genuinely believe that a chapter filled with men that love themselves, love each other, are not the ones hazing each other. I genuinely believe that someone that knows who they are, has a purpose, has a set of principles, does not go into a social engagement with the goal of not remembering said social engagement. They might cut loose once or twice a year, but that's not the goal, to just prove how much they can drink all the time. I believe that someone that kind of knows who they are and has done a proper amount of searching, when they find themselves in a moment that could provide for some sexual miscommunication, they're not going to run that stop sign because their self-worth is not tethered to completing the act. They will be like, you know what, maybe you're right. I believe that those that are hurting are the ones that hurt others. I'm not a policy guy. I'm a people guy. So how can we heal the individuals with the combination of the proper and most up-to-date policies? And I believe we can create safer organizations. Last two things I want to say. Here you are, right here, right now. Cool. You're right here. Awesome. How many of you, before this day started, even though you are in sunny Orlando, Florida, beautiful Orlando, Florida, you were like, dude, I just want to be anywhere else than right here, right now? Maybe not all of us, because you actually made it. Let me ask your brothers that are still sleeping in the JW Marriott comfy beds, right? Cool. How about like Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. class version of you? How many of you are like, damn, I just want to be anywhere else than where I am right now? Cool. I feel like we feel that a lot. I feel like as humans, we feel that a lot, like because we're trying to survive, because we just need to get to the next thing, because we're just like, going through our day with things dictated to us that we have to accomplish and achieve. It's tough. And we just kind of go through, the motions. We're in autopilot and just get me through this day. Here's what I want to say. Here's what I want to challenge you to do. Everywhere you are, every room you're in, every chair you're sitting in is an opportunity to pursue your purpose once you've figured it out. Once you've figured out your purpose, everything that you do is an opportunity to pursue that purpose. I have a buddy. His name's Taylor. We used to be public speakers together. He quit his job as a public speaker to go be a boxing coach and instructor. Anybody live in Indianapolis? Shout out Triumph Boxing Gym, 96th and Keystone. Holler at my boy Taylor. He'll whip your ass into shape, all right? He took a pay cut to pursue his passion, so he had to get what we call a side hustle. Luckily, the owner of the gym also paints houses, so he was able to jump on to the crew at 6 a.m. every morning and go paint houses in the morning, take a break and a shower, go to the gym in the afternoon, evening, right? And he would tell me, he said, Vince, I would get to the job site. I'd never painted houses before. And all I was doing was being like, man, I can't wait to get out of here and go to the gym. We're working on, this certain move tonight. Like he just kept thinking about boxing, and he couldn't be present. He couldn't paint houses and be happy. And then he was like, Vince, the light bulb went off and it just clicked. I said, why don't I just let them pay me to be a better boxing coach while I paint houses? So now instead of carrying paint cans one at a time, he's carrying 4 at a time, doing lunges. He's working out on the job. He told me, he's like, now when I'm cutting a line, I'm working on my concentration instead of thinking about, I can't wait to get out of here. Like literally Daniel's son paint the fence type shit, right? Like he's the Karate Kid. My friend Taylor is the modern day Karate Kid. And he said it changed his entire perspective on painting houses, and it changed his entire perspective of what he does from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., right? That's a large chunk of his freaking life. And now he loves doing it. Everything you do is an opportunity to pursue your purpose and honor your principles. So how do we get there? I believe we get there instead of, we make our daily goals not just surviving, but we make our daily goals pursuing our purpose and honoring our principles. Figure out what it is, do that searching, and get after it. The last thing I want to share with you is how we treat other people, and it was something I realized while working out at the Planet Fitness. Has anybody ever been to a Planet Fitness before? It's like a daycare for adults. It really is. It's bright colors. It's, fun music, and they give you pizza at a gym, which feels counterproductive, but they don't care. They're the judgment-free zone, all right? That also applies from us to them. Don't judge them. So I'm not really a member at the Planet Fitness anymore. I'm more of like an angel investor. I give them like $20 a month, and I'm like, guys, do good with that, like, man, do good with that. I'm like, yeah, I don't want anything in return. So when I was working out a while back, I saw this sign. It said, no egos. Now, my first instinct, since they are the judgment-free zone and they are a place where they want to be the gym for everybody, my first instinct was, oh, this is like a wag of the finger and a reminder to like all those yoked dudes that are like checking their abs in the mirror and talking really loud about the sets that they're doing just to broadcast to the rest of the gym. Those gym rat guys, right? You see them in your rec center for sure. At first I thought this was like a wag of the finger, don't be a D-bag, like just work out, you dummy. And then I realized that that's not what an ego is. An ego is not an inflated sense of self. An ego is just any sense of self. When you look in the mirror and you recognize your face, that's an ego, right? So instead of being a wag of the finger to the guy that was a little too confident, this is a pat on the back to the guys that maybe aren't that confident at the gym, or the people that aren't that confident at the gym. Because when you feel insecure, who's the first person that judges you? Yourself. Like, man, I wonder if I look stupid doing this workout. Everyone's, no, they're not. They don't care about you. And that is sad, but so relieving and freeing. When you judge other people, what is the anchor to every comparison that you make? Yourself. That person is tall because they are taller than me. That person is short because they are shorter than me. If you can kill your ego, you are not insecure, judgmental, entitled, jealous, angry, like all these negative human emotions that we feel far too often. It's generated by this thing called ego. So the Planet Fitness reminded me, how do we solve the intense pressure to avoid negative attention and the deep desire to seek positive affirmation? How do we solve that? And it's a lot easier said than done, but I'm just going to say it pretty easily, and then hopefully we can go out and try to do it. Need less attention and give more affirmation. Need less attention and give more affirmation. If our brothers feel like they don't need to be so loud and unmistakably noticeable to get noticed, or they don't feel the pressure to be like world-changing, revolutionary, student of the year, millionaire, so that we finally start caring about who they are. If they feel like they can just kind of be in the middle and pursue a purpose and honor our principles, and we can give them that love and affection and affirmation from brother to brother, I think that they probably won't jump off the roof into the swimming pool anymore, right? Like, I think that those risky behaviors will just kind of go away because they don't need to do that anymore to be noticed. Need less attention, give more affirmation. I think this next slide is my beautiful face. It is. I'm not wearing the same blazer. I usually am. That's out of habit. I almost said I'm wearing the same blazer. But that's how you can get in touch with me. That's my website. You can find my stand-up on there. Also, there's a link to my podcast. Hit me up on email, call or text. just a shameless plug. I do come to campuses. If you wanted me to come to your campus, let's talk. I got business cards. Hit me up during that break. But sincerely, it's always an honor to be here at ATO Congress. I think, like Corey was saying, this might be my 4th or 5th one in a row. And I'm just honored and grateful to work with your organization. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. ATO gives. Let's close with a super power clap. That is 10 on the count of 3, all right? 10 on the count of 3. The person that miscounts and claps an 11th time eats lunch last, okay? Cool. We're going to go at about this pace. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fellas, just count to 10. I promise you there's always an 11th clap, all right? Just count to 10. Here we go. Super power clap. That's 10 on 3. 1, 2, 3. I told you. There's always an 11th one, and it's that guy. All right.